television, including the Rodney Dangerfield special and a variety series for NBC. Please welcome Elayne Boosler.
Nice audience, real nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, they're great. Oh, thank you very much for having me. I haven't seen you in a while.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, a long time, actually.
I know, it's been a long time.
It's been years, I think.
What have you been doing all this time?
Working, you know. Working on the road, you know, watching comedians come and go.
Yeah, you know, Elayne and I used to go together about, up till about 8 years ago, for about 2 years.
2.5.
2.5, right.
And
that was when we both lived in New York City. Have you been to New York?
I've been there a lot. It was fun. I think about those days sometimes when we were really struggling, and then you know, you made it real big way before me, and didn't really help me. But
what interesting things have
I been
you seen? Yeah, New York. Have you been in?
I ran into an old friend of ours. Remember Ed? I ran into him, and he's doing real good. He's married now. You know, I went out with him.
I know. I remember you went up to the Catskills. Did you? What did he do in the Catskills?
Oh,
when you went there? Yeah, for that job.
Well, it was very, very old people, and he didn't look at the audience.
Well, he used to do material about.
He did a lot of death material.
Yeah, about death.
But usually you look at the audience. And
so a comedian did about death.
You know what you would do, but he didn't look. So he came out thinking it was like a young, nice audience like this, and he came out and started talking about all these senile old women in his building who like would take out their teeth and wipe them on his jacket and stuff. He's a brilliant comedian. He's just brilliant. But anyway, people started to cry, you know. And then he was talking about funerals, and everyone had just lost somebody in the last week, you know, because they were so old. And so it's really a very depressing job.
Well, I remember when you went up there. That was, I stayed at your apartment, and you said you were going away with your parents. You remember, this is about towards the end of the second year, and you said that you were going to go away with your parents, and I could stay in your apartment, because I lived on Long Island, and she lived in New York City, and I wanted to stay in the city. So, so I found out that you had gone with him, and then I called you at your house, and you were, you know, and you wanted to break up. I remember.
Well, I think that about that time, I think we both were wanting to break up, right?
Well, actually, sometimes I would wake up in the morning and I think I'd like to tell you that we're going to break. I'd say, well, I've got to tell her tonight we're going to break up.
Really?
Yeah. And then that night I'd get up to you and then
you'd
say... Like
towards the end of the 2.5 years or during, you know...
A lot of times, because we were constantly breaking up and going back together. And I would say, oh, I'm going to tell her tonight we're going to break up. And then I'd get to you and you'd say, Andy, we've got to break up. And I'd say, no! No! You know, because I didn't want...
Well, also, I was the only one earning any money for us, and so you couldn't really leave, I guess.
That was because I was performing every night in the nightclubs, and you didn't get paid in those days for, for 3 years. You didn't get paid. But Elayne had a job. You were hostessing at the Improvisation in New York. And so she had the only one of the two of us that would make any money.
So I supported us. Yeah. And then you made it in Taxi, and it was the first time I seen you.
What kind of things did we do?
6 years. Remember when you tried to get Chris to fix you up with that little ballet dancer?
What? Who?
What's her name? The one he's married to now?
Oh, that, yeah.
So you always...
What about that?
So you were always trying to, you know, and then with the, you know, all the spiritual stuff, I worked where they served liquor, so you didn't want to kiss me goodnight, and then you went out with people on heroin after that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you put me through a lot of stuff. Just a lot of stuff that I think I mean, I'm surprised that you asked me to do the show with you, quite frankly.
No, that's because
I never told anybody that I went out with you. I never, because I thought that you had made it real big, and I didn't want to be one of those women who makes it on some guys, and, you know, I wanted to really be
You didn't have to worry about that, but I asked you to do the show because I figured you're an old friend. I mean, we went out for 2.5 years, and it's been 10 years that we've known each other.
Right.
And I thought we're still friends.
We are friends.
And we can work together.
Yeah, I think so. It's, you know, the show has no budget or anything, I understand that, but what about, like, Taxi with all that budget, and you never asked me to do anything on that?
I don't have any power over there. I only am an actor. I'm just hired as an actor on the show.
I know.
I don't have any, I can't tell them who to hire.
Well, I just...
As a matter of fact, I wrote a letter to the producers before it went on the air and I recommended you for the part. And I recommended you for the part.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, you know.
Well, okay. I think we're gonna have to cut to commercial now. So we'll see you we'll be right back. Okay.
That I hated that. I can't believe
I
that's
hated
the
it too.
direction
Why
it
didn't you
went.
prepare more?
Because.
I'm trying to ask you leading questions so that you could.
Well, I didn't. The first thing you say when I come in here is that you went out with me. I mean, I'm not expecting that. I hated it, and this. I mean, you know.
Well, I was asking. I have a list of questions that you gave me the other day. I was
Yeah,
going
so you
to
didn't
talk
even
about the
get
bums
into
in
them.
New York City.
Yeah.
I said,
So where
what have you
are
been
the
doing?
buns in New York City?
I start talking about New York City, and you start talking about the other guy in the Catskills.
You brought up the Catskills 15
I have shrinks.
times.
I have shrinks.
When
written
did you
down.
say shrinks? I can't sit here and interview myself too. I mean, it's too.
No, but you're supposed to wait for my leading questions.
So why didn't you ask me anything?
I was trying to, and
This
you
was
got out of it.
horrible. This was so terrible.
No, it
I
wasn't.
can't believe it, and I really don't believe that you don't remember reading
I
the
don't think it's
comments
as
to
good as
me.
it could have been.
I don't think it was good at all.
Because you had all this pressure on you. You think that you were supposed to go someplace and start a fight or something, start some kind of an argument.
Why did you have to bring up the minute I came in that we used to go out?
Because I was going to do that later on. I thought it would be appropriate to do it
Well,
at the beginning.
it's terrible.
Well, I think it was terrible. It wasn't terrible. I just thought it was as good as it could
I
have
think
been.
it was terrible.
Yeah, well, that's because you're so stubborn and hard-headed about the whole thing. I mean, I have all these questions. Bums, you're supposed to talk about the bums in New York City. Then you talk about shrinks, how you went to a shrink because you were the only person you knew who would go up to a bum and ask them if they need money. And then you talk about why you don't talk about shrinks. Because comedians, those are one of the subjects that comedians don't talk about. And then no-nos in comedy, that's shrinks leading to death. Death is another no-no in comedy. Who's the best comedian of death? The guy you went to the Catskills with. Then you talk about the Catskills, the whole thing in the Catskills. Then you talk about the cake and the train. Then you talk about you open with Catskills.
You open with the Catskills.
Then comedians. Then you talk about the way time I flipped out at Channel 5 in New York, and they had to take me away with the security guards, and the whole Bill Boggs episode.
Do I have a list of paper in front of me? You have a whole list of
right,
subjects.
so why didn't you just wait? I led you into
anything?
New York City. I said, "What have you been to New York City lately?" And you changed the subject.
I did not change the subject.
Yes, you did. You changed the subject. I'm sitting here trying to lead you into New York City. I'm sitting here not trying to lead you into New York City. I'm trying to lead you into the sub. Okay, we're back. And thank you. My next guest is. Actually, my next guest is Dr. Alex Shore, and he has written